Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Cool, cool, cool,
Yes,
cool,
we are.
cool. No glasses today? I'm going glasses.
You're going glasses?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be blind today then.
You're
We'll alternate.
Oh, okay. It's fine.
Okay, we're gonna kick this thing off with rap. Shit.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Put on my helmet.
Yeah, listen closely. Put on your hip hop listening ears.
Hip hop, okay.
All right. I bounce in the club, so the hoes call me Rocky. Posted in the cut, and I'm looking for a blockhead. Yep, in my white tee. I break a bitch back, and I keep a bank. Oh, I think they like that. Before I leave the house, I'm slizzard on a goose, and I'm higher than a plane, so a nigga really loose.
Yeah, that's Lean With It, Rock With It, man. I knew for like a few bars.
Listen, what I tell
It's so fun. It's so funny because I don't really know the words to that song, but I know all of the. I'm gonna make this word up. Homonyms.
the hominums, okay.
Because you can hum it. It's like.
I'm sitting in the club and I'm looking for a blockhead. Yep, in my white tee, I break a bitch back and I keep
the
a big
homonyms. You
bank.
humming them.
Oh, I think they like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm slithered off that goose.
yeah, hide in the plane, so it really loose and I can lean with it,
rock
and I
with
can
it,
rock
lean
with
with
it. And if you
What a
got,
time.
yeah, what a time,
So
what a
fun,
time
high
to be
school.
alive. Oh my goodness, like.
High school? Let me look that up.
Yes,
Pretty
Lean
sure
With
it
It
was high
Walk.
school.
At least it was high school for me. Lean With It Rock With It was definitely high school.
I mean, if it was high school for you, it was high
I
school
want
for
to
me.
say no. Actually, I want to say it was like middle school. It had to be like 8th grade, like middle school going into high school. But yeah, I remember back then everybody had the triple XL white t-shirts, okay, the Jabot pants, okay, with bathing apes. It was very Soldier Boy-esque.
2006.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2006.
That's
Yeah, that
ninth
was
grade for me.
if
first semester.
if it's 9th grade for you, then it was 10th grade for me.
Ninth
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah. Dang. Big high school energy. Franchise Boys was definitely it.
That's dope,
Like
man.
that is such a like defining era.
Shout out to So Def and Jermaine
Yeah.
Dupri. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's defining about that for me too is like the clothes. I remember. I
Yeah.
think the remix to "Ooh, I Think They Like Me" with Bow Wow on it. Oh man, the Air Forces they had on, the So Def bomber, the jackets they had on.
Yeah.
Them shits was so
Yeah.
tough.
They were super dope.
Them shits was tough, man.
That was a fire time.
It was great.
Like music was super fun. Like
It was fire, man.
yeah, that was really the rise of like Southern, like real Southern. And I know everybody attributes like the Dungeon Family, everything for putting like the South on the
100%.
map. But as far as popular music during the during the
You
late
talking about after Outkast?
yes,
After Outkast.
during the late
and-
2000s, early into the 2010s was all Southern music. You're talking
Yeah.
about Lil Wayne. You're talking about the
It's the
Yin Yang
song- it's the
Twins. You're
songs of
talking
our
about the
youth.
yeah. You're talking about the Franchise Boys. You're talking about Soldier Boy.
T-Pain is in there.
Yes, definitely. Like a little bit of what's his
DJ
name?
Unk, Lil Jon. You already said
Yeah, I
Lil
said Lil Jon. Mm-hmm. So that whole era is like
Incredible. Travis
yeah.
Porter.
Yes, yes. That
David Banner.
whole era, that whole time frame was really, really, really fun music. Like everything was
Bone
just about
Crusher.
dancing. Plies,
Plies.
you throw him
too.
in there, Busted
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
That
so
song
yeah.
is
Yeah,
legendary.
yeah, it is. Even though I'm not your man, not my
He wrote the shit out of that song, boy.
Let me tell you
Them
about
lyrics.
Titty Penders down. Okay,
yeah.
T-Pain. That
I'm talking about Plies verses though. Plies verses in that song is fire.
yeah, yeah.
It's so descriptive. It's so colorful.
It's so raunchy.
Fuck with it.
It's raunchy.
But you get exactly you can
see it.
you can see it.
Yeah. Hi, Rolo. How are you, bud? Yeah, y'all. So welcome back to the show.
Welcome to the show.
How y'all doing?
What's happening? What's going on?
It's good to see y'all. Okay. If this is your first time, hey, how you doing? My name is Alia. Okay. This is my husband, Carrick.
What's up?
You know, and we're your new favorite married friends. You know, we come
Allegedly.
over, we always have a nice drink. Okay, we always gonna have a cute side with us, and we're gonna give you yucks. Okay, you're
It's the
gonna
hope.
get some good laughs in. All right. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can come back and see us. So you can see what this brunch is talking about. You know what I mean? So you can see what the cookout is on. Because we love a kickback at the house. Kickbacks over clubs is our motto, if you will. So if you want to be here for that every week, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss
like,
anything. Comment on that thing. Make a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow us on all of the things, okay? On the TikToks, all right? The One Thing for Certain talk.
word.
On the Instagrams. On the One Thing for Certain pod. Email us. Y'all, you just want to talk. You want to get it off your chest, all right? You want us to weigh in on the situation. Hit us at the One Thing for Certain podcast at gmail.com.
Absolutely.
Like, we want to talk to you is basically what we're saying, and I ain't going to tell you again. All right?
At least for now. We want to talk to you.
Well, I'll tell you again in the next episode. But, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. All right? So now that you guys know, okay, for our new friends, you guys are familiar. We're going to hit it with the current obsessions, okay? Did you want to start with your current obsession, or you want me to start?
Do you want to go soft stuff? Because mine's is soft.
Oh, so, okay.
I don't know if you want to go soft first and then, yeah, we'll do soft first.
Yeah.
We'll do soft first because you got some other stuff going on.
Soft.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Our son, Eden, is 15 months old, and he's sharp. So we are trying to find daycares for him.
Yeah.
And it's been an interesting process. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, we went to 10 different daycares. We went to 3 different daycares, and it was just interesting as our first kid.
Yeah.
You know, people always say it's an experience with your first kid. You're doing this stuff for the first time.
Yeah.
So just that process was real interesting, trying to go on these tours and see these facilities where they're rearing to some extent.
Yeah.
And teaching babies. I can't even say like kids like that, for like babies. He's 15 months old at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
And so something that we thinking about for a while, and I think we found a good place for him.
Yeah.
And so being parents is interesting because like even doing this podcast is like, we did just have to go do like a real parenty type thing. And sometimes it's not like I forget that I'm a parent, but like that is like a real grown ass parent thing to do.
Ain't it just?
To like get up and try to find a place that's going to take care of your child. And like teach them and stuff. He's starting to say words now. He's running up and down the place. He's inquisitive. He's touching stuff. He's starting to eat. And all of these different things, it just feels like he's ready to kind of be ingratiated into a environment where he can continue to like nourish those type of skills and like be taught. And we're both working parents. Wish we could just stay home and try to do it ourselves. But even with that, like, I'm not a teacher in that way.
Yeah.
And I think there was some extent of like getting out of my own mind of like, he can't go to daycare until he's 2 years old or hits this milestone or something like that. But seeing him interact with like kids his age, for the little spurts that he does get them, whether we go out to eat or with family or something like that, you kind of see that spark that he needs a little bit more structure and routine. And so finding a place a day after my birthday, mind you, was like the best gift I could ever get. Is like walking into a place, and it's a feeling. Yeah. Just, walking into a place and being like, this feels good.
Child, I was just happy it was clean.
Okay? I mean, that's a part of it.
Like, I think that's super dope, like, that you say that, because honestly,
I hope all that made sense.
No, I think in this, it's just where we're at.
It
It's
is.
just where we're at right
That's
now in
the
our
other
lives,
thing.
and that's super dope
If
because we
you want to ask
really
me what I'm thinking about, bro, this is where
that's
this is what it's
it's
on. This is the
taking
time
up
I'm
real
on.
estate in the mind.
Yeah, man.
And honestly, like we've always wanted to be parents, and so like
Yeah.
now that we're here, we like before we had our son, it was always hypothetical. It's like, oh, when we have a kid, it's gonna be like this, or when we have a kid, it's gonna be like that, and it's like, child, you'll see, you'll
Yeah.
see when that child comes into your life. There is going to be a like a I used to say all the time, we're in Eden University. Like when
Yeah.
he first came home, like we're learning him straight up.
Yeah.
Like he is teaching us every day, you know, how to love him and what he needs. And we had a specific idea of when we thought we would be prepared for him to go to daycare.
Yeah.
And it became evident to us very quickly that he would need to start that sooner
Yep.
just so that he can have that structure and the foundation and honestly like the socialization of interacting with other kids, and obviously there are fears associated with that. We were incredibly blessed that we had our family to help us up until this point. He hasn't had to go to daycare. There has been somebody to take care of him every day of the week. Honey, everybody got a shift. My sister said we passing this baby around like a blunt, and it was so funny because we were everybody has been so heavily involved, and we're so incredibly blessed for that. But we definitely think it's time, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm more excited than fearful. You know, you're a little human. You're always going to be incredibly sensitive to like whether or not they're getting the things that they need, if they're being tended to,
Man.
if people are going to love them and care for them.
And actually teach him.
Yeah,
You know, you send him to a place you like. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a country thing or whatever, but it's a lot different. Like me going to school and like having to trust the grown up in front of me
yeah,
to teach me things. You know, you go there and you receive knowledge,
yeah,
and so but from the flip side of that, it's like I hope your parents hope that you receive what you need.
yeah,
And he's such a interesting age. He's almost about 1.5.
yeah. He's
Like
almost 1.5.
eh, you see some of the stuff that he's trying to say, or like words he's learning, or what he's picking up on, and he follows and looks at you and like mimics.
There's things that he sees that I recognize that he is imitating that I didn't even know he could see us doing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, he likes to play with Carrick's AirPods all the time. Like whenever he
Jesus.
can get his hands on them, he does.
Yeah.
And he opens them up and he tries to put them in his ear.
Yeah. This thing. Oh my
Like
God.
he
Favorite
is
favorite toy.
obsessed.
It
He is
just.
obsessed.
Yeah.
He's not interested in regular toys whatsoever. He's interested in all of the regular shit we have around our house. The remote controls. You can't find a better toy for him. And don't try giving it to him without the batteries because he knows the difference. He does.
And all he want to do is press, press,
Press,
press,
press,
press,
press, press,
press,
press,
press, press,
start, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Like, you're just like cluttered. You're a smart tail. But yeah, that's super dope. That's super dope. I hear you.
Yeah, man.
Definitely been a very,
I called them today just to make sure, like, about enrollment and
yeah,
stuff, and talked to my mom last night for a long time about it. My sister, because everyone's involved. Like
everyone.
my mom, my sister, my entire family that's at that house. You know, your mom, your sister. There's a lot of people involved. So just the transition of like him going to a place 5 days out of the week
Yeah.
is a transition for everybody, and everyone's kind of on the same page of, oh, does he have to? But it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I could see it.
we couldn't do this forever.
Yeah, and it's a sigh of relief because it's even talking to the guy today. It's like it just
It just feels good.
feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you know, we'll let you guys know if it doesn't go good.
oh well.
Because I will flame them. You
Oh, y'all will
understand me?
know. Y'all will know.
It will be broadcasted.
I'm just
But
not
we felt
having
good.
that, bro.
Not at all. Not at
It's
all. I'm gonna call the Better Business Bureau on there. So, anywho, for
what is
me,
your
child, my
obsession?
current obsession, and I alluded to it last week, is season 6 of Love Island USA. I know that the show is already done. I'm a bit late to, you know,
The party.
the party, but the party is cute.
Oh, fuck.
Because when I tell you the producers are producing, like Guilty Pleasure for Carrick and I are relationship based reality TV shows. We find them hysterical, and it's always the type of shows that will have us up literally until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, binging it. Like the whole reason why I'm pretty sure they don't release Love is Blind in like one large batch anymore is because they saw the metrics of Carrick and I watching it all in one night. Like,
I'm more of a fan of Love is Blind, I think, than I am of Island for sure.
yeah, love and now and I can definitely go through like the pros and cons of like each one. Love Island is basically I was saying this to you earlier this week. I feel like it's our generation's like The Bachelor and Bachelorette, except it's with 5 single men and 5 single women, 10 people all in a house, incredibly hot in this beautiful villa. Like, I mean, they're ridiculously attractive people. Like literally like romance novel level attractive people.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary. And then they're young and everything is in the right spot and tight and sitting very high up. It's very, so for one, it's just nice to look at for one, and then two, the drama is so good and the producers know how to stir the pot. Okay, like in the great words of Sister Ray, Issa Rae, I'm rooting for everybody black. So
Facts.
off rip,
On
if
every
I
show.
can, on every show,
On anything we watch. Game
basically.
of Thrones? White black people with white hair?
Listen, Laura Corliss, you a bastard,
He is.
but I'm rooting for you.
Rooting for you, black man. Richest black man in Westeros. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
All right. But anywho.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. So if I can find like a character or a contestant rather to be invested in and to follow, I'm locked in. I was watching like the UK version, but I was recommended by one of my coworkers. She was like, "No, watch
Oh, that's what
USA."
started it.
Yes.
Who did it? Well, don't say her name.
Yeah. One of my coworkers was like, "Girl, you need to watch this season." I'm so glad that I did. So, top, I want to say 4 characters for me is going to be, of course, Cordell and Serena. That is a couple that I'm rooting for. The couple that I think is going to win, Kendall and Nicole. And an honorable mention who I like, couple that I really like also is Leah Miguel.
Leah Miguel.
So, starting from the top with this conversation is primarily going to be about Serena and Cordell. I really liked their love story at first. It was interesting because Serena, beautiful girl, you know, really bubbly personality, fantastic smile, like just a stunner. Real cool chick. Like she reminds me a lot of like one of my LSs, and so automatically I gravitated towards her. Cordell, really handsome short king, you know what I'm saying? Nice hair. Handsome guy, really, 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 really sweet guy. At first when I saw him, I prejudged him. And I was like, he's giving big F-boy energy. And
he's Odell Beckham Jr.'s
younger
little brother.
And he mentioned that, and I was just like, here we go, you know? But I was completely wrong. Foot, meat, mouth. He, after episode 2, I was like, protect him at all costs. Protect Cordell at all costs. Like I was going to get a shirt printed because he is so incredibly sweet. He has an incredibly high emotional IQ, I think. I have never seen anyone who looks as though they are not capable of getting angry. He is so patient. He is incredibly kind. He always makes room and space for other people's feelings. He's not afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
He gives great advice to his friends. Like, I just want to just protect him. I just want to hug him. And
There's a certain like innocence to
there's
him.
a certain innocence to him. There's a
Hmm.
certain like genuine and like just completely unfazed, like just warmth that comes
Hmm.
from him. And that to me, I feel as though is really unique in men specifically, because unfortunately, especially for black men, there's always this narrative that like you can't show weakness, you can't show compassion, you can't show kindness. All of those really soft skills and emotions
Hmm.
is essentially kind of like bullied out of you guys at a very young age, if not by other men, by other women who also like propagate like ideas of toxic masculinity as well, by making you feel as though you can't show emotions that are not either anger or frustration or distance.
I
Um,
concur.
yeah, and so I really appreciate how like raw and authentic he was. So anyway, those are my two favorite characters. They had a little bit of a hiccup during the Casa Amor portion of the show, which is basically
I
when
mean, the hiccup started before that,
you know what, it really did,
long
because
before that.
my girl Serena really wasn't feeling Cordell at first. She friend
So she
zoned
says.
him heavy. That's what she said, and that's what she did. Her actions were also indicative of that, because, like, they paired up in the very beginning. Well, first in the very beginning, like the girls essentially got to pick who they wanted to be matched up with, right? One of the previous contestants, I can't remember his name, but he was a really handsome, super tall, dark skinned guy. He was like 6'8", and like obviously all of the women were just like him. Okay. Serena, Janae, and another young lady who was early on the show, like all ran to his podium, and basically he was able to pick who he wanted. Serena was one of the girls who ran to him instead of Cordell first. So even off rip, he wasn't her first choice, which is fine. She don't know him, right? And then after that, the remaining guys who did not have a female islander that wanted to pair up with them, they got to pick who they wanted. And so he picked her. So literally from day one, Cordell has always been picking Serena.
Hmm.
They get matched up. They start to get to know each other. Maybe 2 or 3 days go by. She's not really feeling the spark. So she tells him, like, hey, listen, I don't think we're on the same page. I don't feel a romantic connection between the two of us. And it completely blindsided him. He did not see it coming. He was like, nah, I really like this girl. Like, I think she's cool. I'm having a good time getting to know her. And she basically was just like, no, son. And he was like, well, dang. All right, cool. So he goes about his thing, chilling. A bombshell comes in, and like he goes on a couple of dates. They have a second to like have some distance. And then she's like, "Oh no, I think I kind of like him." And he was like, "That's weird. I All right, cool. I mean, I still like you too." So she they pair up again.
Hmm.
All right, cool. So after that, there's like a couple of challenges and things like that. And they're doing well, and there's like this event where basically like the producers have them do challenges all the time, and there's this one challenge called twist and shout, where basically the two islanders that are currently in a pair are dancing on a dance floor, and there's a partition between them. When
Hmm.
the music
Hmm.
starts, they dance. When the light turns yellow, they have to decide on whether or not they're going to stay on the dance floor, meaning that they're going to stay in the current couple, or leave the dance floor, expressing that they no longer want to be in their current pair and would like to date other people. He's thinking that they're good. So they're dancing, dancing, dancing. It comes time for you to decide, and Serena walks off the dance floor and he stays on. He can't see her, but
Hmm.
he's still dancing his little heart out,
And everyone can
dancing,
see him.
and everyone can see him. And then when it was time for the music to stop, the partition opens, and if that person is still on the dance floor with you, then they're choosing to stay with you.
Right.
The partition moves, he looks over, and she's not on the dance floor with him, and he's like, dang. So literally in front of the entire island, she basically was like, I don't want to be in a couple with you anymore. So second time that she just was like, never mind. That same night, they bring in 3 new bombshells into the villa, and she ends up going on a date with one of them, and he has to just watch.
Man.
Like, that's the wildest part about this show. You're dating all of these people, and in the real world, if you're dating someone and you're interested in somebody else, you never are going to see the other person that they're interested in. On Love Island, you sleeping next to the person that they're interested in. You watching the person that you want to talk to somebody else. And so it's just a recipe for good, juicy, dramatic disaster.
Yeah.
And it's
They
fantastic.
they playing puppet games with these people, and it's live, so people like
Oh
voting
my
and
goodness,
stuff.
they're voting and a
Who's the
lot
best
of the
couple
cameras
and all
are
that?
hidden, right? So they can get you saying and doing the things that you would normally do without you feeling like you're necessarily being watched. At least that's the perception that they allow us to see. In reality, there's like tons of camera crew and Ben like running back and forth. So,
Right.
they probably just get used to it. Anyway, so I'm running through their like history. She goes on the date, it's cute or whatever, but she comes back and basically like, I still like you more. So so after she literally embarrassed him by leaving him out on the dance floor and friend zoning him previously, he still agrees to date her. And he's like, all right, cool.
So what is this, number 2 now that he's
This is like infraction number 2, basically,
of her
of
leaving
her
him
and then
and coming
coming back.
Okay.
And so now Casa Amor happens. The guys actually have a decision to either go to Casa Amor or to stay in the villa. Obviously, all of the guys choose to go.
They
They
off of there.
ran away.
Yeah.
And Cordell, he explored. He explored quite a bit. There was a girl in the villa who specifically was there because she was like, I really like Cordell of all of the guys on the show so far. Because like I said, this is happening live. A lot of the bombshells that they bring into the show have been watching the Islanders. So they have context. They have an idea of who these people are, and have interest in some of them before they even get to the show. Her name was Dea. She was beautiful. She looked like she could easily be like a fairy. Like she
Mermaid.
was super cute.
That's what I call her.
Beautiful girl. And she was all about Cordell. She came in there and was putting it on him. She was like, listen, King, I feel like you haven't been receiving the love that you've been putting out there. And I just want to let you know I want to give it to you. And he was for it. Period. Full stop. She pressed him down like a button down on a Friday night, child. Poof. Like she pressed him good. And he folded like a lawn chair. He did. He was kissing that girl in challenges and outside of challenges. They was making out. Big touchy-feely energy. The producers sent the girls back at the villa a video message of these indiscretions. And Serena, she popped her top. I ain't never seen nobody that mad. That girl was getting her steps in all up and through that villa.
She
was like,
that whole property.
She was moving. And when they finally came back, he actually brought the girl back. And she read him for filth. Oh, God.
She didn't, I mean, in my opinion, she didn't say much. It was a lot of empty.
I don't think it was empty. I feel as though she was very clear. She was like, I feel disrespected by the way you decided to move when you were in Casa Amor. I never said that you couldn't explore other connections, but at the end of the day, I wanted you to be respectful because I was respectful to you when I went out on that other date, which I will say is like congruent. I think that is fair. However, the part for me that I thought wasn't fair is that while her feelings were hurt at the fact that he was a lot more physical with this young lady than she had chosen to be with other people that she entertained, which really wasn't a lot. She really only talked to two other guys other than Cordell during that entire season up until the point where I've watched it. Miguel and Nigel, which are two different bombshells who came in at two different times that she tried to get to know kind of in their in-between period. But she never kissed anyone else other than Cordell. Like, unless they were in like a challenge specifically, but she was just like, I just didn't like the way you moved. And she felt really disrespected by that. And he had to do some groveling. That girl made his life hard for like 3 damn days straight in that villa. And it's just a good freaking show. There's this one couple, Aaron and Kaylor. Poor Kaylor. She's head over heels over Aaron. Excuse me. And to be fair, I'm sorry. And to be fair, I think that Aaron really likes her as well. He just don't know how to act. And in Casa Amor, he also lost his ever loving mind and was kissing up this girl, Daniela. That boy made handshakes with her. He was like, let's go shower together.
Oof.
He was making out with her. He was talking to her in Spanish, knowing daggone well Kayla can't understand no Spanish. So when they sent her the video message, she was like, what the fuck are they saying?
Kayla was in
This
tears
girl
before.
cried.
Once she found out that they was over there, she was already crying.
She was crying when she found out that they went and they had a choice not to go. That she
Right.
was already crying and heartbroken about that.
Yep.
Then she was crying for the 3 days that they were over there because she was just so scared of what he was going to do. And then when he came back and she found out what he did, she kept crying some more. That girl,
She cried for like 2 weeks.
she
straight.
cried for at least a week straight, a week and a half, minimum 8 days and 8 nights. She cried.
Because you think about it, it all happened in succession.
Yeah.
Because after they came back and everything was good, then it was movie night.
Before they got back, she saw the video, crying the whole night. She was crying before that.
She was
Then
crying
she got
before
the video.
Then
Then
she
she got the video evidence,
crying.
Then they came back, crying.
Crying.
Then he apologized, crying.
Crying.
Then movie night happened,
Crying.
crying. Like this poor baby, she don't have no, and she only this big. She don't got no more water left in her. The poor child is a
was-
prune. Okay, she needs to be on an IV
She
drip.
produces a lot of.
That poor baby. Every time she tries to
Tears.
talk, she starts crying. She's like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, and then what you call it left? Nicole left.
Live,
Left.
live. My
Right
shout
after
out
that,
to.
crying.
You want to
Crying.
hear weeping? You would have swore Liv was being sent off to war. She was heartbroken, and Liv is like, she was actually the first bombshell that came to the house, I believe. And she was like this beautiful, tall, blonde Australian baddie, who, I mean, honestly, she was like one of my favorite characters. She was the definition of a girl's girl. She rode for her girls, and she has such a strong personality. And like she said it how it was. All she ever wanted was for whoever who was paired up with her to be honest with her. And for some reason, like she just had a really hard time making connections. I think she was paired up like 5 different times, and it just never happened for her, which is so shitty because I thought she was gorgeous and I thought she was funny and I thought she was really cool, but it just didn't happen for her on the show, and she eventually got voted off. And it
Yeah.
really, really sucked. But the show has me in a chokehold. If you couldn't tell from the last, I don't know, 20 minutes that I've been talking about it, there's so much more that I didn't get through. But child, it's living rent free in my head, and I am not even thinking about charging it for anything. I'm not going to ask them to put nothing on the books. I'm not going to ask them to put nothing on the light bill.
It's rent free.
Rent free, because when I tell you that show brings me joy, I'll be on that couch giggling,
I think
gasping,
it's-
clutching pearls.
it's interesting. I think the show is cool. I think Serena and Cordell's relationship, I'm watching it kind of in and out. Like I have spurts where I watch it with you.
Yeah.
And I'll watch like a full episode or even 2 episodes or
Yeah.
something. Because the truth to the matter is, when your wife is watching something, you can't really watch nothing else. I tried to sneak a couple things in there, but when she's on, when she's on something, she's on something. And so,
Just
but
has to ride it out.
I did like, I think peak Love Island to me, and it was only the first season that I watched, was that season with Dami and
Dami in India.
Dami and India.
Yeah.
Who didn't even win, but like Ekansu and
And Davide.
Davide, like that
Yeah, the UK
that
version.
group, that UK version was like
It was really good.
peak.
It was really good season. But
so, yeah.
again, whenever we have a couple to root for, it always makes it better.
Yeah,
when
ups
you
the
have a
ante,
couple,
ups the
when
ante
you
a
have a
lot.
couple that you're invested in, it makes the show so much better.
Yeah. And there's really a couple for everybody, I guess.
There is. I think so. I think there is a couple for everybody. So,
Mhm.
and I think that's why I like Cordell and Serena so much, because they're so black, child.
But then also there's like six, and I'm not joking, there's like 50 episodes.
There really is, because I think they film every day, and they're in the villa for like, I want to say 6 weeks, like 6 to 8
Oh, really?
weeks. That's why there's so
gosh.
many episodes. It's nonstop. It feels like the show runs 24/7. It's exhausting.
It's like
Those-
watching them in real time.
Yeah. And anytime you make it up to like the finale, you're patent. Like you're good. You're going to have a minimum of 1 million followers afterwards. You're going to get endorsement deals. You're going to be more popular. turn into money immediately. Like Love Island has created their own little universe. They have podcasts, they have the show
Mm-hmm.
After Sun, they have their own like various social media accounts. Like people are really invested in this show.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually wonder how much revenue, because it is very popular in the likes of like Bachelor.
yeah.
It kind of with the voting,
Mm-hmm.
of like when you watching it as it's happening, like the vote,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gives me like that early American Idol
Yes,
vibe,
yes, yes.
and so I can see how it can have like such a following,
You
obviously.
become really invested in the people, and it feels
Mm-hmm.
like a dating pageant. Like
Yeah.
you have people like Miss Arkansas, and like they come and tell you about themselves, and you like follow their story, and you become really invested in like who they are, and then you find yourself rooting for them in the end. So it's really dope. I think it's brilliant. But
Yeah.
that current obsession actually um makes me want to kind of like segue into a question that I had for you.
Okay.
So with the whole Serena and Cordell situation, I know when we were watching that, there was a bit of frustration that we both felt about Serena's reaction to Cordell's perceived indiscretion while he was in Casa Amor, right? Like, it wasn't so much like we understood where she came from as far as her feelings being hurt,
Yep.
but what felt very hypocritical was the fact that the patience and the grace and the attentiveness and forgiveness that Cordell constantly extended to Serena whenever she basically decided that he wasn't her flavor of the week this week
Mm-mm.
um, was not reciprocated when it was time for him to explore his own connections. And it was mainly because he did it in a way that she didn't agree with, right? But
Right.
at the end of the day, you don't get to tell someone how to pursue someone. I feel like Serena as a person, she was really like she's reserved. She doesn't like a whole lot of like physical touch and affection early on in a relationship, which is understandable. Like she's getting to know that person. She's not going to be all on them, you know. And so it she was a slow burner. Like it took a while for her to like him, which is fine. However, in that process, Cordell was patient enough to just wait it out.
I mean, one can argue the patience and grace should have worked the same way that it worked when she was being slow.
I agree. I agree because at any point he could have been like, you know what, I understand you're a slow burner and like that's fine. But for me, I need to feel reassured in a relationship.
And
And I feel like you're not giving that to
I
me.
think the other thing that gets kind of missed in this is like, and I know he's not, I don't think he was thinking like this, but from a show and competition perspective, being uh uh swung one way or the
Yeah.
other like that, it hurts your chances, because if you put all your eggs in a
And
basket
yes,
that
and
you're
that
not
person doesn't
sure,
pick you, you could be voted
you
off
could
the
be voted
show.
off of the show. So even from that perspective, it's kind of like
He really took a risk, like
took a huge risk.
waiting for her every single time that she just decided that she liked him or decided that she didn't.
It's like,
Or,
so am I single now, and do I have to like start re-engaging with,
yeah.
because things happen fast, and so yeah.
Watching that scenario, like we kind of like it made me think of the question, like, what do you do when you feel as though either a loved one of yours or a really close friend of yours has a spouse that you think isn't right for them? Because even though I like Cordell and Serena as a couple, seeing that what felt like a very fundamental difference in like how they um, present themselves in a relationship. Like he's incredibly reassuring and comforting and accommodating,
It's
and
incredibly noble
he
to a
dotes on her,
to a
like
fault.
hand and foot. He dotes on her, and at least from what we've been witnessing from the show, she doesn't really reciprocate that. Like she's really good at receiving that energy, but it doesn't seem as though that she reciprocates it. At least not in the same way that he does. And to
Based on what we
me,
see in the show, I
yeah,
mean,
and that could be
it's
swayed
we
for
can only
writing
judge it by what we
by what we
see, right?
see, right?
And yeah.
But it just seems like he's way more into her than she is into him. And it made me think, like, what if we had a friend or a family member that we saw that, like, what do you do when you feel like you don't really like or think that the person, your friend or your like close loved one is with is right for them?
Uh, I would be, see, there are certain relationships where I can see how toxic it is, and it's
Mm,
very rare to see a relationship put on TV where some of that toxicity is being generated by the woman in the relationship. Most of the
mm,
time, the toxicity is kind of generated from the male's perspective. At least that's what's perceived on television.
yeah.
Um, and so there's always this expectation that maybe the guy is gonna have cold feet in Love Is Blind. Is he gonna actually, commit to
Yeah.
marrying that person at the end?
Right.
There's always this kind of thing that they do in the narrative that they play. So it was very interesting to see it from this perspective.
Yeah.
But I think like we have a son. If I encourage y'all to watch the show, if I saw him go through that,
Yeah.
I would not recommend him continue that relationship
Mm,
solely for his own emotional
well-being.
well-being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't need to do the whole bitches ain't shit and women always is doing. I'm not. I
That's wild.
don't ever really give a fuck about none of that red pill shit. I'm talking about two humans who are trying something,
Yeah.
and one of those humans happen to belong to me. Yes, my kids belong to me. If you're talking about our kid,
Mm,
no. If you're talking about a friend or even on TV, like I don't think they together right now. Where we are in the show, like
mm-hmm.
they're together right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, by Cordell's choice, he chose her over Dea,
Daya. Mm-hmm.
and uh, I I would be disappointed
Yeah.
in my friend for
Yeah.
doing that, because why would you let somebody treat you like that?
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, there's so many episodes of this, right? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we just said it. Oh, we only see these, from what they show us. I feel like they show us a lot.
Yeah.
A show that got 60 goddamn episodes,
Okay.
and if they recording every day, every other day,
Okay.
it's a lot. It's a good sample size.
Yeah.
From the beginning from both perspectives, when she was in control and wanted to do what she wanted to do and talk to other guys,
Mm-hmm.
we saw how that affected him, and we saw how he was affected did not affect her in the way that it
Oh,
should have.
wow. Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? That's real.
and
That's a
and
really good
so
point because during that twist and shout competition, when they kept cutting to Cordell's like confessional, all he kept repeating was like, "I just feel so dumb.
yeah.
I just feel so
And
stupid."
how
And
I
y'all told me that she was gonna do this, and I
yeah.
didn't listen. It was
And
really hard to watch.
it's one thing, guys usually, and maybe it's because there's just so many different ways to flip. I have so many different keys and reasons as to why I just don't agree with him continuing this relationship with that particular girl.
Yeah.
I just, even his friends, the guys on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and guys usually don't step in, at least into that extent, into your business.
Yeah.
Love Island may be a little bit of a special case because they see each other every day,
Yeah.
they're
They're
around each other
there
every
all
day.
the time. They're
But
roommates.
hearing them talk about how he was in Casa Amor with Dea versus how he is when he was with Serena and when he came back to Serena, it it's like night and day,
Yeah.
and it's like positive and negative energy. And it's only in those spaces where she's upset or she feels slighted or she's just, quite frankly, not paying attention to, she's only paying attention to how she feels.
Yeah.
She doesn't pay attention to how he feels. And that's, to me, I just, for especially for a guy like that,
Yeah.
specifically. That's the other thing.
And
Like,
I understand how she was not able to make space for his feelings in that moment because she felt hurt. She felt betrayed. To get a video of somebody that you really like having like an intimate moment with somebody else, that there's no reality in where that's not going to hurt you. However, the part that I felt like she kept missing was that she kept saying, I feel so stupid. You played, you played in my face. You tried to make me look dumb, this, that, and the third. And it's like, babe, you did that to him in a different way several times.
here's another thing she said. She said, "Oh, it only took you 3 days. It only took you 3 days to be doing all of that. Like you wasn't even there all that long, and that's all it took for her to change your head so quickly." And when you listen to that in that tone,
Yeah.
yeah, you can understand where she's coming from, because it's like, damn, it was really
Like
you just want
it was just that
as
easy.
soon as you left, it was you just did your big one. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the kids say. My perspective is a little different. It's like, yeah, it was quick.
Yeah.
Why was it so quick?
Like,
What
what
was
did
she
she
giving
do in
him
3 days that it took you
that
guys
you couldn't do
in 3
in three
weeks?
weeks?
Yeah.
But that conversation, when depicted on shows like this, gets construed because it's being bogged down with all of the things that she says about him that's just not true. So because she's upset, so she's bouncing around the house. And again, this is not a bit, girls ain't shit. I'm just paying attention to what I'm hearing from someone who is not, to me, ready to be in a relationship. Like, not, at least not with a guy with that temperament. It just doesn't match
I
up.
actually
He'll
think
go.
he's the only kind of guy that
It's too
would
much
deal
of a.
with that.
It's too much of a risk of it. You're asking him to sacrifice a lot of his emotional, um, uh, well-being to constantly be called to the forefront as if I ain't shit all the time. Like,
Yeah.
everything that all of the patience and all the stuff that we talked about goes completely out the window. She called him a liar. She called him, he ain't shit. Oh, you was just over there. You just wanted to do whatever. You don't really care about
You
me.
just want to get your
All of
little
these,
dick whipped
all of these things. But when you left, that's not what you came back to.
at all.
And there was no,
He never once made her feel bad about constantly changing her mind about whether or not she wanted to be with him.
not even a
But the
little bit.
first time that he wavered, she was like, everything you ever told me was a lie. And it was like,
While also being
is it?
unsure, while also being very clear and unsure if you really liked him for real. But as soon as he finds someone that likes him and he likes that person back, now all of a sudden he doesn't like you, because but you didn't show him that you really liked him that much either.
It was not clear
So
that Serena really liked Cordell until literally the day before they left for Casa Amor. The day before, like, she was
yeah.
finally starting to come around and be like more affectionate towards him and like actually admit that because she just told everybody in the house at first that she did not like him, like that he just wasn't it for her, and then had to turn around and was like, just kidding, I
And
think
to
I like
say
him.
that around the house, did she tell him that?
She eventually did. No, she broke things out. Like, she was telling, she was confiding in her girlfriends and just being like, I don't know why I'm not feeling, like, I don't feel that thing yet. I don't feel that spark. I don't feel that romantic connection, and I think I need to tell him or whatever. So she was, talking to her girl, seeing if she was tripping or not. But she did. She basically was like, yeah, I just think we're gonna be friends. And he was just like, dang.
And for
So
anyone
they had a rough start. I think
anyone
she
that
really
would be
does
hard
like him
for.
though.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I just, like I said, like, I I just, to answer the question, like, if it was a friend or something and they went back, because the thing is, it's like you can recognize it and be like, that's not good.
Yeah.
But if they have an opportunity to leave, and there's like space given, and then they still end up going back, I think I would just be disappointed,
Yeah.
because I
She got a hold on him.
She got a
because
hold
I
on him,
really thought Dea was a really good,
but also,
like,
I
match.
thought she was great.
I thought she was really good for him.
She was, in terms of emotional connection, like she was completely opposite. Like
She
she,
was.
and some of that you have to be mindful. Like the people that they bring on these shows, watching the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she came in there for Cordell, but she could have very well just wanted to. And I'm not saying that she was doing this, but she has an extreme advantage because she can see clearly what he's
Mm-hmm.
not getting,
Yep. And
and
she can make a
easily
game plan.
adjust herself to put herself in position to be the exact opposite of that and provide those things that he's missing, and that is exactly what happened.
It
And if
just
you listen
wasn't
to her
enough.
understand, like if you listen to her talk about like why she is that, it is kind of naturally who she is. At least that's what she says when she was talking to, when they freaking had the conversation with Serena. She was like, I'm just a touchy feely kind of girl, I'm physical touch, whatever. But I would just be disappointed because it's just like, you don't you I don't know what you deserve, but I know you don't deserve to be labeled these things and be treated as if
You're less than.
you you your feelings don't count in the quest of your partner, and you're disregarded, and you also don't deserve to be uh uh over inflated about things just because she now doesn't agree with it, because she says things that are very like not permanent, but kind of erases the cachet that he's gotten
Yeah.
in this process that they're both going through. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost as if all of his stuff don't count now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how could that be?
You said something interesting. You were like, she says constantly throughout the show, like, I'm a slow burner. Like, it takes a long time for me to open up to people. And the reason why it takes me such a long time to open up to people is because I always end up getting hurt. She said, like, after this happened, she was like, I feel like this always happens to me. Like, I told you. And the reason why I hurt her so bad is she was like, I confided with you about how I've been done dirty in the past and how people have disrespected me and how you said that you would never do nothing like that. And so the betrayal felt so, so familiar, so distinct that she was really upset with herself for trusting somebody like that again. But you said something really interesting. You're like, if it takes you that long to open up and someone's chasing you, chasing you, chasing you, and then by the time you finally come around, they're tired of chasing you. You were like, what is it about you that makes
If you keep on
that
saying,
always happen?
she keeps on, it comes out of her mouth, she keeps on saying, this is always
This
happening
always
to me,
happens
this
to
is
me.
always
And it's
happening
like,
to
well,
me.
what about
And
your behavior perpetuates that?
but I wonder what she means by that, because in her mind, I don't know if this is something, and that's why I don't know this is a good idea, because I don't know if she fully gets the other perspective of what her actions do
To
to
the
the other
other
person.
person. Mm-hmm.
I just don't think she's
By
in that space
constantly
yet.
being avoidant, you said with that logic, you'll always be right.
Yeah, she'll always be right.
You'll, if your
Because you're just
logic
waiting for
is,
something to happen, and then when it happens, you
yes,
say, "Oh, see,
see, I
it's
always
always
knew it
been."
would happen.
I just don't think that that is a. I don't.
If I'm constantly pushing people away and then I get upset that they leave and I say everyone always leaves me, well, that's a self-fulfilling
While
prophecy.
also going off and experiencing things with others and coming back to a safe place to land. Like, one of the guys said it to Cordell. He was like, "Bro, you got friend zone, bro.
Hard.
We all saw you get friend zone, and when you went
Yep.
into Castle Moore, we were hyping you up because this girl was on you.
She was all about
She
you.
was all about
She
you."
didn't want to be no part of your
And the
friend. She
energy,
wanted to be your
they said
girl.
that he was smiling and all
He
this
was
stuff. Not to
sniggling
say
and
that he wasn't
giggling.
smiling with Serena. I
Oh,
just
because
felt
they
like
stay kikiing.
they
That's why I
do.
really like them as a couple
Yeah,
because they
they
really seem like
yeah,
friends.
and I'm not trying to, the girl is, Serena's cute as shit. It's kind of, it's crazy, but like that type of emotional stuff to me will always be, will trump everything
Yeah.
in my mind. Like once you
My
start showing signs of like not knowing how to handle or communicate certain
yeah.
things, I can't really like rock with that. Like,
Yeah.
and so I would just be disappointed. I'm not going to, Yeah, because what you gonna do? Like, even if it's
Yeah,
my,
you
if it's
really
our son,
can't do
I could, but I'm
anything.
gonna tell. What I can do is
I'm
tell
gonna
you the
tell you the
truth.
truth. I'm gonna tell you what I see. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, it seems as
I
though
don't think that's a good idea, bro.
this is a equally yoked like match. It doesn't
I'm
seem
just talking
like,
about what she's saying to you and how it affects you and how it impacts you. That's not healthy.
even if you take it a step further, it's not just what, is being said, because I think what they say to each other, like when they're not obviously arguing, is fine. It's more so like what happens. Like, what is she showing you?
Yeah, one
Every
of the
single,
dudes in the thing said they tried to give him so much like advice and shit. One of the dudes like, if this is what, oh, it was Kendall that said it. It's like, if this
mm-hmm.
is what she is when she's upset, ask yourself, especially how she's upset,
Yes.
why she's upset, and what version she's telling herself that is true versus what's reality. If this is what she does,
Yeah. If this is what an
is that what you want
argument
to
looks
sign?
like,
If that's what you want to sign up for,
yeah. Do you want a relationship with
she didn't
someone who
let
will
that
blow
man
up?
talk. Not really.
Yeah.
While saying a bunch of nothing. I'm sorry, but like,
It's really hard to articulate like how frustrated and how upset you can be in the heat of the moment. We've all had those moments where we're so mad you can't even really talk. Like you're not even making sense. And I felt like she was at that point. Like she was just so upset that she wasn't making any sense. When I tell you that girl literally like a ping pong ball
yeah.
flew from every corner of the villa, like she was a tornado. She was cussing everybody out.
And the
She
other,
was like, "Fuck y'all, fuck y'all, fuck you. You ain't never been shit." I was like, "Yo,
the last thing on this too is just having to learn that like if people make a decision, like that's why I said I'd be disappointed. I disagree. If you ask me, bro, it's not even like that I don't like the girl. I just don't like that girl for
for
you,
you, yeah,
bro, because it's too much on you
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 have to
don't
do
have.
too much heavy lifting."
It's a lot, bro, to consume and absorb all of that and make sure that it comes back out clean. Is just, that's a lot. And so like, nah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I would just try to tell the person that I cared about that, like, at the end of the day, I want like what's best for you. And you have to ask yourself, is this sustainable?
Mm-hmm.
Is what you guys are encountering, is the sacrifices that you're making, because love is all about sacrifice. But when you find yourself the person constantly giving and the other person is the one that's constantly taking, you have to ask yourself, is that sustainable?
Yeah,
No one
no,
has a bottomless pit of compassion and love and
and grace
patience
and
and
all that.
grace to extend. Sometimes you need that to be extended to you. And obviously it was eventually, because they got back together, she decided to forgive him. Is as far as where I am in the season right now.
They're like closed off, right?
Yeah, they said that they're closed off. So it's just like,
Mm.
we still rooting for everybody black, child. I know it may not feel like it after we we talked about it, but we really do wish the best for them. So that's my current obsession that bled into that question about like just what
Mm-hmm.
do you do? Okay, you have a one's gotta go.
Yeah, and I think might be able to end on this
Okay.
because one's gotta go. All right, I don't think we've done this one.
Mm-hmm.
Beards, extensions/wigs, implants, makeup.
Which one of these has to go?
Yeah, beards, extensions/wigs, implants, and makeup.
I guess I would have to say implants,
Hmm.
because I ain't got none. Okay, and I don't.
You don't got a beard either.
Well, but that would mean that I don't want anyone else to have beards, and I like your
Oh,
beard.
yeah,
So
that
if one's
would.
got to go, then like you can't have a beard.
Oh, and that's just torture at that point.
I don't think
I'm
it's
just gonna lose
torture.
all
I'm
my hair.
No, I met you when it doesn't mean you have alopecia of the face. It just means that you can't, like, you would have to keep your beard shaved off.
Nah, it means no beards, babe.
So your face is just bald. You
Yes.
just got a bald headed face.
Well,
What
beard and
if
mustache is different, so I can still have a mustache,
what
but
if
all this is gone.
that would feel very rapey? I don't think that's a cute look. What if
But it's
though?
what you want to get rid of. If you really feel strongly about it, then stand on
Okay, well, I don't feel I don't feel strongly about it. I want you to keep. Well, I feel strongly enough that I want you to keep your beard.
Mm.
Um, I'm what what more can I take from you?
I
Like,
know,
if I
right?
take your beard, it's just so wrong.
Well, if you take the beard, I'll just have the extensions and the wigs.
Let me tell you something. You can have a cute little lace
And the
front.
makeup.
I'll I'll let you get one of them what's it called? Silk Sonic wigs.
Hell no. Oh my god.
Yes, the Anderson Paak wig.
Bruh. That video of him at the what is it, the Grammys
Oh
with the
yeah, where it's called a full sweep. Yeah, when they won those 3 Grammys,
yes,
it was
playing
incredible.
around.
Yeah, being
We
cute.
should start a boop. Boop 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 boop. Grammy.
Grammys raining from the heavens. Yeah, I would say implants. I don't have any, so I don't think I have the need for it. But honestly, if my if I ever was plagued with the egg drop titty, if you will, we're talking about like the pancake folded titty.
Oh come on, babe. Some of our there's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with it. I don't want them.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't want flapjack titties personally. And so if that were to happen to me, I reserve the right to change my mind because I'm not going to have orangutan titties for nobody. I'm not going to have orangutan titties for anybody. I'd like to get them things hefted up if I needed to. And so barring the current need for any implants, I will say the implants are the ones that gotta go because I do like extensions. I don't really wear wigs like that, but I like the option. I do, I get braids a lot, and I consider those extensions because they're extensions of my own hair, and so I don't want to get rid of that. I really enjoy makeup, so I wouldn't want to get rid of that. I like your beard, so I wouldn't want to get rid of that. So yeah, implants would have to be the ones that would go.
Implants is an easy choice
Yeah.
as a um if I'm looking at it from the perspective of like a man and the gaze of what I like to see in women, I guess.
When you
Or
said the gays, I was like, what do gay people have to do with this? But you said
gaze.
gays.
GAZE.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My bad.
Um, but yeah, so if I'm taking it from that perspective, I think it's actually extension and wigs that I would get rid of.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't
because
ever want to see another extension or a wig again?
no, I just think that there's enough in the world now of like products that you can get. I think of Target and like sometimes I peruse in Target and I just see all of these different like black owned businesses
Yeah.
that are all about like protecting your hair.
Yeah.
And I know that extensions and wigs, especially wigs, are used to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like specifically only talking about black women, don't really respectfully not considering white women in this equation. I just think that if you guys didn't have to wear extensions and wigs, you would be able to there's enough technology and like advances in hair care products that you guys would be okay, and like your natural hair would be like super fire. Even if it would be a lot more maintenance and you may not want to do that all the time. I think it would be cool to see more of how creative, because when you lack something, especially if it gets taken away, like if just up one day all the wigs are gone.
Let me tell you something.
I
There
feel
will be
like
a cry that would ring out to the heavens above. It would literally be. It would be like, Father God, like you would hear a scream of epic
yeah,
proportions. There's
but
no
I
way
just
that
think
all of the wigs can just be Thanos snapped away.
yeah,
Black women would revolt.
yeah, but it would force like if you have short hair, wear your short hair. Like if you're bald, wear bald. You got a fade, dark Caesar, wear it like.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many different products now, not just from big companies, but from again like black-owned companies that are all about taking care of your hair. So I feel like it would be a cool little
Yeah.
experiment for
I
it.
think women love the variety of choice that they have
Of
when it
course.
comes with that. But honestly, I feel like those things were created out of necessity. Just to your point, like the overall acceptance of Black women's hair is a very long and fraught like battle, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason why all of those things exist is because it is an
Yeah,
alternate.
there was no
There
it
was no
wasn't there.
acceptance of our natural hair.
Right.
And so, you know, it's not really about whether or not, yes, we want them. Yes, we like the variety of being able to have, 22 inches of, Brazilian rummy flowing down our back, or Eurasian, Cambodian, Sri Lankan bundles, whatever the heck. But also, I feel like if our hair, exactly the way it came out, was always considered beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
then it wouldn't be a need for it. So, yeah, I understand that.
And I would wonder, like, it would change how it would. I feel like it would give more. It would force women and men, because men wear extensions and wigs too.
Come
Whether
on, the
we,
men are starting to wear these extensions. Those little
yeah,
helmets that y'all be getting, boop, like
yeah. But even if
glued
you,
onto your
if for the
top of your
for
head.
like the men that are trying to like skip the baby dread process.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You
Um.
can just straight up get like
Mm-hmm.
Canecolon, or
Until
even human locks
yeah, until
extensions.
you
Oh my God, Rolo.
until you grow your hair out, but um you wouldn't have to do that, because I feel like people would have to get used to not living with this new world of like, there's no extensions, there's no
Yeah,
wigs. Let's just all have our hair out. For us,
yeah.
white people is not. There's laws in all kinds of southern states. We live in Georgia where having certain hairstyles is damn near illegal
Not damn
or is
near.
illegal.
It's
And
illegal.
so
Like
aside from that,
a company reserves the right to terminate you based off of the appearance of your hair,
right.
which is why the Crown Act even exists
Mm-hmm.
now. Um,
So yeah, I think it would be cool. I think I'd be happy to see like all the creativity that comes out of the
I feel like black hair
different.
has always been creative and
Yeah,
it already exists. And I think hair weaves and extensions are an
a part of that.
extension
Yeah,
of that creativity.
yeah,
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I
yeah.
understand the broader philosophical.
Because we I mean with that, without extensions and wigs, we wouldn't get Barney Brother. What is it? The big ass hair show that be
Yeah.
happening where they be having
Yeah.
hairstyles and
Oh, straight up
helicopters
helicopter child.
and
Yeah.
flashlights and
Come
all
on.
that. They got a car on you, like
Yes. I think I saw a Teletubby on the head one
facts.
time.
And then just spelled your name out
For
on
sure.
top of your head.
Yeah,
You
the
know what I'm
baby
saying?
hairs will literally
So
spell your
yeah,
name. Yeah.
did we
I'm
do
down
it?
for it.
I
I
think we
think we
did it.
did it.
I think we did it, man.
Listen, we appreciate y'all.
A
You know
little
what I'm
bit different of an
saying?
episode
A
today.
little bit
We
different.
trying to play around with these
Not just
segments.
all of the keys. We get into it as well, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we appreciate you guys for being here. Again, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. We're not playing with you. Come back and see us,
Come on,
okay?
man.
But no matter what, and no matter where you go after this, make sure you go with God.
Go with God.
Okay? It's one thing for certain podcasts, baby. Peace.
Deuces.